Hello, how are you? Welcome back. Um, excuse me. Um, okay. This is a walkthrough of time management. It's really important that you've gone through the last couple of lessons. Because they're the backgrounds. Remember, we talked about the foundation, and there's going to be those retention rods that need to go in to make that wall, that concrete wall strong or that foundation strong. And so if you skip those and just come to this one, you might be a tad confused. And so I would encourage you to go back and do all of this entire workshop in order, and it'll make a lot more sense. Um, so again, hi, I'm Mrs. Spasm. A master's level education with a very spastic brain and personality. So here we go. Time management. This is the other part. So the last part that we did with time management, remember you did the writings and then you did the let's pull out the roles and the goals and all that kind of stuff. So now we're going to talk about how to go about a step-by-step walkthrough of doing a planner. For this purpose, it's going to look like a spreadsheet, but you could do the same thing on a weekly planner or in your Google Calendar or whatever. So it's just to get the main idea. Remember, this is the taco bar. Let's get the main idea out there and then we'll go from there. So, remember how we talked about the rocks? These are also something that we use on a lot of different things. We use the rocks on um, organizing things, pack like how to pack a suitcase. You're gonna put in those big things first, and then you can get all the little pieces of sand put in, and they can fall down and kind of get into those crevices, so to speak. And so it's kind of the same kind of thing that we're doing here today is big, medium, small, and tiny, and we're going to define those. For instance, big rocks are your appointments. Those are the things that are already set in the schedule that you can't really get out of. Dentist cleaning or maybe a soccer game or, whatever the appointment time is. Then your medium rocks are going to be your priorities. And these are the things that you've identified as being your roles and the goals that you want to be accomplishing right now. And then your smooth little pebbles are the chores and prep time that you need for things, and we're going to talk more about that. And then the sand is the filler. It's the stuff that can take, that you can take some downtime while you're at the doctor's appointment and you're waiting that 30 minutes. That take that downtime to scroll through your social media and then just kind of regroup. There's different ways that we can find doing this. And as I've done this with students in college, they feel really overwhelmed with, they've got all the homework to do, plus the classes to attend, and most of them are working. But once they do it, they can see this as I'm about to show you. It shows them how much time and how many gaps are open for them to get certain things done. So it's kind of exciting. So if you want to walk through a weekly planner, you can walk through a weekly planner. Like I said, it's up to you whether you do a paper planner or you do apps or you just use Google Calendar. Um, for this demonstration, this is going to be the paper planner. So the very, 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 very first thing that you are going to plan is your planning session for the week. A lot of times Sunday is a really good time for people to do that. Sunday morning or Sunday evening, but just pick a time and put it in there, and that becomes your um, commitment to yourself that you are going to do this so that you can get your life on the track that you want it to be, and then just It's the appointment that you're going to keep. It's the appointment that's gonna be like, I don't want to do it this morning. I'll do it later. And you might find yourself procrastinating it, but pick a time and place. Sunday mornings may be not a good time. You're either at church or you just want your coffee on the back porch looking at the blue sky, it doesn't matter. But 6 o'clock, everybody's kind of getting ready for the week. And so that might be a good time to do the planning. But the very first thing you're going to plan is your planning session. Big rocks, these appointments. You are going to go through then from Sunday through Saturday, and you're going to plug in family dinner, the school days, the vet, dancing, soccer, piano practice, your doctor appointment, your online class, whatever is those big appointments, you are going to fill them in here. Okay. The fix it guys come in, the vet check, you have to go to Dr. S, you're getting your dental cleaning on Friday. The recital is Saturday. And then clients are, for me, when I was working, I would have a day where my clients were on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. But then I also needed office time and then a reminder for Fido's monthly meds. Gonna put in those big appointments. Then you see the to-do stuff at the bottom. You're gonna plan from Sunday through Saturday, but then you're gonna work backwards. So you plan it all, you put in all of those big appointments, things that you have to do, and then you're gonna start on Saturday. And it's, oh yeah, it's Aunt Pat's birthday. So while I'm out on Friday, I need to get her flowers from Costco. So you put that down in the to-do list, which I don't have right now. Um, the vet check. Let's say that your vet only takes checkbooks, which I know is really weird for some of you. You've never even heard of what a checkbook is, but these are some older slides from 10 years ago. And so the credit cards or the Venmo or the Zelle or whatever, it doesn't matter. The point is that you're taking Fido to the vet on Friday. They only accept checkbooks, and so Thursday evening is when you want to get a pile of all of Fido's stuff, the collar, the checkbook, the whatever that trip entails is what you're going to do. So you're going to plan Sunday to Saturday, but then you're going to go back and do mini planning, micro planning from Saturday through Sunday, which is making sure that you've got everything ready for that next day. So the recital's also on Saturday, so Friday, you probably want to pick up 2 sets of flowers, one for your aunt's birthday and one for the recital. DMV, you got to go to the DMV Thursday at 9, and so let's make sure on Wednesday that you've got the DMV papers all together and that you're all ready for that. So that's an example of doing your big rocks. Now your priorities, these are your medium rocks. Your medium rocks are going to be these. You want to exercise, you want to volunteer, you want more time to golf, maybe better, some date time in there, more time to read. And so we're going to now go and find times for you to plug those in. So your gym time is now going to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then if you look, you are going to do your gym on Monday, then Sunday, and I don't have that written on here. Sunday, you want to have your gym bag ready. Tuesday, get your gym bag ready. Friday, get your gym bag ready. Okay. We've got family movie time on Sunday at 4 o'clock. And then you've got daytime, and let's say that you guys switch off dates. So let's make sure that a day or two before, as you can see here, it says Tuesday. I'm planning the date because maybe I need to make reservations for a place that we want to go eat. Saturday, we're going to pick the movie for the family movie time on that following Sunday. Um, but those are the things that you wanted to do here. You now go and you find the space to do it here. So you sign up for the pantry. If you want to be reading a little bit every day, then add that into your noon section. Eat lunch in like half an hour and then read for 15 minutes. But this is how you start to organize, and your time is based on your priorities and things that are important. So now we've got these pebbles, we've got chores, we have to do the laundry. I'm sorry, it's just a fact of life. We have to do the dishes. It's just a fact of life. We've got to clean the toilets and vacuum and all that stuff. It's just a fact of life. But what we're going to be doing with all of these grocery shopping, studying, getting to the cleaners, mowing the lawn, whatever it is that we've got to do, we can then make room for that in our weekly thing. So when I was working, for myself or for the nonprofit, I had Mondays as the days for home, getting the home in order for the week. And so that's when I would do the laundry and then go do the oil checks or spend time doing my office time, getting stuff ready for the week. Um, so back to getting all of that filled in. Um, I've got the laundry in there, and you're not going to be mowing every single week, but let's say that you're mowing and that you need to put in that you've got to mow on Saturday, or that you're going to mow on, some other day. Um, you need to get groceries. One of the cool things about uh, since post COVID, are so many places that let you order and then you can just pick up. And so for our family now, we do our menu grocery planning on Saturday. On Sunday. We order the groceries to be picked up on Mondays because my son finishes work at 3 and he's right next door to the grocery store. So he picks up the groceries and brings them home, and is could never have been the best thing in the entire world. I'm sorry, it is. So I hate shopping. So that is an example of that. Now you're left with these fillers. This I don't know why it's got a string on there because it's supposed to just be sand, but the sand that goes in and fills in those little short places, right? And so you need time to relax, then find time in that week and schedule it, and be true to yourself that you're going to do that, that you just really, really put a lot of work into your backyard and you want to be sitting out there in your hammock in the sun. So make that a point to do that at some time. Um, your social media, that those can be filled in when you're waiting for doctor's appointments, like I said, or when you're waiting in the pickup line for school, or that's just part of what your habit is right before bed, which is not a good habit to have, but I understand it. And then if you've got, your Wednesday nights is when you want to watch your show with your bros. Um, then make sure that that is in your weekly appointments that you set up. So we've gone through and we've put in the big rocks, which is your appointments, your medium rocks, which is your priorities, your roles, and your goals. And then you put in you can put in your fillers, your chores from your pebbles. And then these fillers, do you see where there's these pockets of time that are open? And so that's when you can take that pocket of time. That Sunday from 1 to 3, you may not need the whole 2 hours, or maybe you will, and you go lay out in your hammock. But then you're still being productive and you're getting everything done. But you also can see at a week at a time that, oh, Tuesday's really open. I've got that interview, but then after that, I don't have a client until 6. And so I can dig into studying for that, you know, certification for first responders, not chronic, what's it called? I can't remember now. I am certified in conflict management, conflict resolution. My brain today, I'm really, really sorry. It's really embarrassing sometimes too, but I'm really sorry this isn't happening today. But hopefully you've seen it and me talking about it, you can get this all figured out. Downtime fillers are important, okay? So that Facebook, Netflix time, that's part of the balance in this. It's important for you to have that time. I don't want you not to have that time because you're getting all these other things done. Um, it's about balance, okay? So balance is you got everything done that you had planned for on Monday, and then you've got the interview Tuesday, and then you've got that gap. So you're like, oh, I'm watching that movie Tuesday between my interview and my client. Um, it's all about keeping balance and finding the balance. Okay. Um, I don't know what that is. That is somebody on the outside of my house. And they're doing something, and I'll have to figure that out in a second. Key principles. You don't prioritize your schedule, you schedule your priorities. I'll let that sit there for a minute. Be aware of unrealistic time frames, especially if you've got the time blindness, and you think you're gonna redo your entire closet in 30 minutes. It's probably not realistic. So be realistic with your time frames. Also, what are your expectations and what other people's expectations? And be able to just try to figure things out from that perspective. Efficiency versus effectiveness. This also, the way that I just taught you to plan is how to be efficient with things versus effective with things. Now, efficiency is that you are a robot, right? You're checking off all those things, you're turning in reports, everything is being very efficient, you're being very, very proactive. But sometimes being efficient can take over being effective. You want to be efficient with things, but you want to be effective with people. And if you've never read the Seven Habits story, I wanted to say Dr. Phil, and that is not his name. Stephen Covey has a story where he noticed on his son's planner one day that he had wash car and then a 15-minute segment to break up with his girlfriend. And Mr. Covey just kind of giggles and doesn't say anything to his son. And then his son goes and he washes his car, and then he comes back in. He's like, okay, it's time to break up with the girlfriend. And so he goes out on the back patio with the phone and he calls, and like an hour and a half later, he comes back in. And then Mr. Covey's able to talk to his son about, you know what, it's being effective with people and not efficient. You're efficiently not going to be able to break up with the girlfriend in 15 minutes. So be effective with people, be patient and understanding, and make time. If you've got something that involves someone else, with, my client, or breaking up with the girlfriend or whatever that is, then let's make time to be effective with that and add time. If you think it's going to be 30 minutes, add an extra 30 minutes because you want to have time. And when we start talking to people, we lose track of time. And I think that's true for everybody, neurodivergent or not. So, what is the key to a good day? Is actually for me to have a good day today, it started with last night. So after I finished everything on my planner, I come over and I look and I see that I need to do X, Y, and Z today. And so since let's say that it's Tuesday and then tomorrow morning is Wednesday and I'm going to go to the gym and then I'm going to drop the dog off at the groomers. Um, but I'm going to drop the dog off first and then go to the gym. I want to have all the stuff for the groomers, including the Xanax pill for the dog because she gets so scared. And then my gym bag, I want to have that all packed and ready. And if it's that the kitchen table, the back door, whatever setup you have, the key to a good day is preparing the day before. Some key principles to staying in balance is using the words I can't, thank you, maybe another time, and no. So hard to say that, especially as a woman, right? Because we're always having to prove ourselves. But these things that thank you, but maybe another time, and no. If you are feeling overwhelmed with things going on in your life right now, don't take on anymore. Just don't do it. I'm giving you permission. You can tell them Mrs. Spasm over on YouTube has gave you permission to say I can't, thank you another time, but no. Okay. Flexibility avoids frustration. This can help not only with neurotypical people, but especially with neurodivergent people. I have been working with my son on this for a very, very long time. That the more that he tries to learn to be flexible, it's going to avoid that meltdown for him in those situations because he wasn't prepared. And so sometimes he's got to learn that even though I said 10 o'clock, they just called and said that they had an opening and I need to get the dog over there at 9. Um, and he's the one that's driving me around now. So he's got to be a little flexible with that. That is one of the best things that me as a mother could have worked on and continue to work on. But to teach my autistic son is this flexibility, and it is something that you teach, and it is something that you teach over and over and over and over again until that maturation does catch up a little bit for him, and he's able to learn to be a little flexible. But for everybody else, just be flexible because if not, the frustration is the stress, it's the cortisol, it's gonna build up and you're gonna explode. So here's some D's that Mrs. Spasm says, and tell your friends this if you don't want to do it. Know what you need to do. We've already talked about this in our other things, right? What can be delayed, what can be delegated, what can be dumbed down, which just means chewable, doable, to chewables, and what can be deleted. Now, there's some things that you absolutely have to do. Let's say that I'm still working, I absolutely have to be at that team meeting in 30 minutes on Zoom. What can be delayed is, you know what, that paperwork isn't due until next week, and so I can delay that till tomorrow where I've got more open time. Delegation. I'm not going to be able to make the parent education night because this thing that came up with my aunt and her birthday party, and she was just diagnosed with cancer, and so we're all going to be there for her birthday party. So I'm now going to delegate that presentation to a coworker. Dumb down. I've got that big, huge paperwork thing that's due next week. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to dumb that down and I'm going to say, okay, what are the first steps? what needs to be done first, what's easy, what's gonna take the longest, and I'm gonna break those into doable chewables so that even if I'm working on it for 10 or 15 minutes every night, then that last night before I get to where I have to turn it in, most of it's already done. It's already done. It's just about dotting I's and crossing T's. And then what can you absolutely delete? Guess what? You don't have to take cupcakes in for little Johnny's birthday at the school. I don't even think schools let people do that because of all the allergies anymore. Um, but what you have done is 2 weeks ago, you've ordered pirate stickers, and he can hand out a sheet of pirate stickers to all of his friends for his birthday. So that's deleting you having to make cupcakes, and you've just done something else. But just delete what doesn't absolutely have to be done. And trust me, as I am losing energy myself and as I am getting closer and closer to the stage 5, I am delete. There's just some things that don't matter anymore. I do not care anymore if the top of my fridge is dusted. Don't care. Deletion. Done. So keep these D's in mind. Um, I'm going to show you later some things that you can do, but I have these little, I don't know if you can see these big ones and these little ones. And what I do is when I was using my planner, and there were things that needed to be done that week, and I would plan them, but I don't necessarily want to write them all on a Tuesday and then actually have to erase that and then move it. So I got addicted to these stickies, and I would write what I needed to do. So like if I wanted to take an extra long shower and shave my hair or shave my head, shave my legs. I'm gonna be shaving parts of my head tomorrow, so this is why or tonight. This is why I'm thinking about it. But I don't get around to doing that, then I can move that over without having to rewrite it. And so my planner from Covey actually had a 2 page per day, so that the absolute have tos are on the to-do list, the appointments are on there, but then that open space for notes, I had stickies on there. And if I got through most of them, that's great. If I didn't, I was able to move them over to the next day. So I'm going to be walking around my house and showing you some of the things that I do in my house um, at the end of this workshop. But another key principle is, especially if you struggle with time blindness, use an analog clock and try not to use the digital as much, because digital doesn't let you quite grasp how much time has gone by or how much time you have left, whereas an analog clock does. You're able to see, like, feel, touch, get a really good idea of how much time you have left and things like that. So use an analog clock if possible. Some reinforcement reminders. Oh, okay. So this is just a way to wrap up the time management. So, you know that poem that somebody wrote about the dash in between? Like everybody talks about the birthday and then they talk about the death date, but the dash in between is how that person lived, how Joss G. Thomas lived for all those years, how Mary Thomas lived for all of those years. Is that 90 years? Yeah, okay. So it's that dash in between is really what's important, and what you want to focus on is the dash. So think about it like AM and PM are your dashes. What do you want to accomplish? What do you want to be? What do you want to focus on? Your AM to your BM, PM. Oh, PM. Oh my gosh. You guys, if this if my lessons don't go viral because of things like that, I'm just gonna be laughing either way. It doesn't matter. But PM, not BM. Every day is a fresh start. Let's just do that. How shall we? So, to learn um, the the value of a year, ask a student who failed their classes. To learn the value of a month, ask a mom who had a premature baby. To learn the value of a week, um, ask the person who missed the deadline. To learn the value of an hour, ask the person who missed the train. Or another minute. The hour is ask the lady who's waiting for her boyfriend to pick her up for a date. Uh, to learn the value of a minute, ask the person who just missed the train. To learn the value of a second, ask a person who was just almost in an accident. And to learn the value of a millisecond, ask a person who was the silver, came in second in the Olympic Games. Um, so that is, I'm gonna stop sharing. Hold on, says sorry. No, sorry, hi. And then we're gonna stop recording too. So anyway, hopefully that gives you some ideas on ways that you can keep your life in balance and not run everywhere all the time being crazy, but living life with what's most important. And I will tell you this because I do have just a few minutes. I've taught time management for a long time. I've met with people who have just booked themselves away to, I mean, their schedules are just crazy, packed. Um, and I've made enemies when I've said this, but and I think I said this before in another lesson, but the alcoholic doesn't forget to go to the bar or stop by the liquor store on his way home from work. Um, if it's important, or if you have a bad habit or an addiction to something, you're gonna do it. You're gonna stop and do that thing. So here's what I've said before. If it's important, you get it done. So you can't make excuses. And when people go, "Oh, I didn't have time." No, that's a lie. That is a falsehood. You did have time. You just had it organized a different way than you could have. Okay. So what's been interesting is as my numbers keep dropping from this kidney thing, I've had people jump on planes or jump in their cars to drive 3 states over to spend an hour or two with me and to let me know how much I meant to them in their life. It shouldn't take somebody dying for you to do that. And I'm not saying that you're going to want to do that every week or every month, but you want to make sure that people are your priority. Those relationships are your priority, not getting crap done. I had a woman once who we would switch off babysitting, and she would drop her kids off, or I would drop my kids off at her house, and she would be right in the middle of Legos and reading books and spending time with them. And that was something that I found as a mother really hard to do. Like play Candyland, I just shoot me. Like I I just struggled so much doing that stuff when my kids were little. But I would drop them off at her place and she would apologize and she would say over and over how sorry she was that her house isn't kept as clean as me. And I looked at her one day and I said, "Listen up. We each have our strengths, right? So I'm effective with my house cleaning and my house having a place for everything. It doesn't take me very long to clean up, straighten up before somebody comes over. Like that's just how I've been able to set up my house and my life. You sit down in the middle of all the chaos and you spend time with your kids and my kids and doing these things that I found really, really hard to do. So I'm not going to beat myself up as a young mother for struggling with those things. And it's not that I put cleaning in front of my kids. We moved around so much, I was able to establish where things were going to go for easy, fast, quick pickup. And I did do a lot with my kids, but to sit down in the middle of before the laundry's folded, maybe sometimes I didn't do that. Maybe I fold the laundry and let them watch TV until I got all my chores done because that's the way my brain needed to be. So there's no right or wrong way to do this. And for that particular friend of mine, her kids are just amazing adults as they've grown up to be. And she spent time with them. And who cares that the dishes weren't done yet, right? My kids, they might look back and think all mom did was do the dishes and do the laundry and not play with us as much. And I did play with them and I did do things with them. It's just that sometimes I couldn't give them my full focus until I had a few of those other things done first. It's just the way life is because that's what works for me. And playing in the middle of the chaos was what worked for my friend who I can't remember her name, but I've got her face over here. So anyway, that's time management. I'll go over some things again later, but hopefully these workshops are helping you to see, feel, touch, do things in a different way. And with that, I am done recording. See you later.